Okay, sorry about how I look, guys, but okay, so today I woke up and I decided that I was gonna go on a rant. Yeah, a rant. So, this rant is about me purchasing my first car. Like, initially, my first car that was bought for me, not that I bought from like my mom or somebody else, like, not from a dealership. I had a car before that, but that car was I bought it from my mom basically, and that one was a 2007 Chevy Monte Carlo, and the car was still nice or whatever. It was still in good shape. The only thing is with the car, I had a kid. I had like a 10-year-old son, nine, probably like eight. I had an 8-year-old, and the car, when I initially got it from my mom, blah blah blah, it had an oil leak, blah blah blah, dug it out, and then it eventually started smelling like gas inside the car. And I seen that was a common problem with General Motor cars, is that they basically, it's called the evap canister or whatever, but this is not the car we're talking about. So I go, I buy my car. I'm all happy and excited because I done been scared. Didn't want to have a car note for so long. I'm like, okay, I feel like I could finally do it. I have my own little side hustle or whatever. So I'm like, I think I could do it. So I finally just go to the dealership. Boom. I walk in the dealership and I'm all confident, y'all. I'm so confident. Like, this is the confident I've ever been. So I walk in there. I'm like, I want that car. And they like, okay, let me get the keys. You can test drive it. I'm like, okay, cool. So that one had auto stop, y'all. So I was depressed about that. It had auto stop. You couldn't turn it off. On top of you not being able to turn it off, it just gave me so much anxiety when I was driving. So I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. And that one was in 2019. So everybody was like, oh, don't be so sad about it. You're going to find a better car, blah, 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 better year. Boom. Couple months passed, like about 2.5 months. So I ended up finding a 2020 and I was happy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I found the 2020. When I got that one, it was like, oh yeah, this is the last model. There's no more made after this. General Motors discontinued them and blah, blah, blah. That was the same thing with my previous car, my Monte Carlo. They didn't make that. They didn't make no more after that year. So I'm like, oh, okay. I should knew that was a red flag. But anyway, so okay, boom. I get my car. Um, I didn't even have no way to get the car because I had already sold my Monte Carlo, y'all. So they're like, oh, we could drive it to you and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I don't even gotta go on my way. Y'all gonna do everything for me. They gave me like like a $700 discount. So the car in all in total was like what 19,000 something, and then the theft system was 13,000, and then after taxes and fees and everything. So I think after taxes and fees and stuff, it was like $25,000. So I still got the car, yeah. I got the car like January, end of January of 21. It's 22 right now. So car was practically brand new. Inside super clean, no flaws. Outside, they had a little scratch on the bumper and all of that, but they agreed that if I bought it, they was gonna get that fixed for me. Yeah, when I tell you this was the worst car buying experience of my life, do not underplay me saying that. So this is how it goes. They drive the car out here. They're like, how much do you have to put down? I'm like, I got 10,000. They like, oh, okay. So they was just rushing to bring me that car. So they put up. I checked the car out. They give me the two keys. We go test drive or whatever. And we come back in. We sit at my table. We do my paperwork. Um, the man that I originally was working with, he didn't drive the car out here. He had someone else drive it out here. So that man drives the car out here. We do the paperwork. I give them the money. They like, okay, we gonna send you a certified FedEx with all the copies of your paper with everything you might need or whatever. So I'm like, okay. Y'all, when I tell y'all, them people left. I drove my sister to Wingstop. She like, oh, I can't fix my seat. The seat was broke. I'm like, are you serious? And I'm not even gonna talk about the dealership, y'all. I'm not gonna talk about the dealership. I'm not gonna say the dealership name because the dealership gave me $5,000 for my troubles from what I had to go through with that car. They gave me $5,000. They said just don't slander them. That was it. So this one I'm not gonna tell y'all who I bought the car from, what dealership. Just know it was in California. Okay, so they oh, the seat wasn't working, so I called them and I'm like, hey, the seat's broke. Like it's not moving, the seat is not doing nothing on the passenger side. So then they're like, okay, it's a used car. We're not gonna make it brand new for you. And I'm like, oh, he's talking to me crazy now. Y'all, when I tell y'all that man was talking to me with attitude, it was mind blowing because he was so nice before I gave him my money. So at this point, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so rude. So I ain't even trying to just go back and forth about it. I'm like, okay. I said, well, this seat don't work, and I'm pretty sure this seat need to be working. I said, so you gonna fix this seat? So he's like, okay, we can fix the seat when you bring the car down here for us to paint the bumper. Remember, I told y'all that per the agreement was if I bought the car, they would paint the bumper. Y'all, tell me why I end up driving 2 hours away from where I live. Me, my son, and my brother. I get out there. The man's not there. Somebody else is there. I'm like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? How long is this gonna take? Am I supposed to just be waiting around or what? Like, they're like, oh, we can give you a loaner car. And I'm like, am I supposed to just ride around town? So I called them back and I said, well, I'm gonna go home because I have my son. So I'm gonna go home. They're like, okay, whatever. So they're taking their time to fix it, y'all. So as they're taking their time to fix it, they ended up telling me a couple days later, calling me like, we need our rental car back, our loaner car back. We stuck our neck out for you, and all of this and all of that. And I'm like, so I'm supposed to give y'all the loaner car back and just have no car after I've literally just bought a brand new car. The car had like, what, 27,000 miles on it. It was a 2020 Chevy Impala. It was a V6. It's silver, nice leather interior. It had a lift up screen in the inside. Nice loudspeakers, everything. Like, my heart literally fell in love with this car. When I say my heart fell in love with this car, believe me, perfect. I had to get used to how it looked because it looked a little slow on the outside, you know. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So yeah, so they're like, we stuck our neck out for you. I'm like, okay, so whenever y'all done with my car, y'all can have y'all loaner car. Like, this has to make sense. So from there, whatever, it was like, okay, first of all, y'all, let me tell y'all, because I kept on calling them like, hey, where's my car at? Because when I bought the car came with a tracking system. And the tracking device, it kept telling me that my car was parked like in front of a school, and it wasn't at the actual dealership. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, where's my car? Like, it's saying this. They're like, no, no, why would we take your car over here? Da, 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 da. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So then at this point, they're like, okay, well, we need that car back, that loaner car back. So we're gonna bring your car. It had been, I think, 2 weeks. So I guess they wanted to keep my car for 2 weeks and just had me out here searching for rides or paying for Ubers. I don't know. So y'all tell me why they brought me my car. They had somebody drive it out here, and the person was supposed to take the other car that they gave me back. Y'all, when I tell y'all they bring my car, the seat was fixed, but the door on the side where they was working at had a dent. It had a dent. So I called him. I'm like, hey, my door has a dent. It didn't have a dent when I took it to you. It didn't have a dent. So I'm like, if I didn't want this car with scratches on the bumper, y'all not about to put a dent in my car. That man hung up in my face. Yes, that man literally hung up in my face. So at this point, I'm mad. I'm like through the roof. So I'm calling, I'm talking to other people. They trying to calm me down. They're like, okay, I'm so sorry about that. He shouldn't have did that. He shouldn't have did that and all that. So he like, okay, I'm like, aren't y'all supposed to take pictures of people's car before y'all pull them in through the service department? Go back, look at them pictures. Y'all gonna see my car didn't have no dent. So he like, yeah, okay, I could do that. Y'all tell me why I'm working with this man, but the other man who hung up in my face, the one that works in his office with him, he ended up calling me. He's like, yeah. He goes, you had our loaner car for this long and that long, and this. I'm the one who gave you that car. I did you a favor. And then he's like, what did he he told me that he's gonna give me a $50 gas card, and that she'll cover the dent. He said, you're crying about a dent. He said, you're crying about a, yeah, he told me you're crying about a dent. He said, I'm going to send you a $50 gas card in the mail, and that should cover it. And I said, I know you did not get on this phone and tell me what you're going to do for me for damaging my car. I said, I'm not in need of no $50 gas card. I said, so you could keep your gas card and you're going to get my dent fixed. So at this point, I'm talking to the owners at this point. Like, I'm going back and forth with the owners. And I told them, at this point, y'all got y'all pictures. Look at y'all pictures. Y'all failed to take pictures of my car before y'all put it into the service department. So that is y'all fault. But what I do know, I said, since y'all ain't got no pictures, I'm going to send y'all this video. Remember, I told y'all that they drove the car out here to me. So they had did a walkthrough video, like looking at the whole car, like showing me everything. He's like, there's no dents on the car. The only flaw that this car got is this little, these little pink chips on the back bumper. It was like 2, but that was real small. So that was my proof that my car ain't had no dents. It had like a scratch, like a few scratches, but them was like clear coat scratches. So they had built those out when I had took the car out there to get the bumper painted. So at this point or whatever, I'm like, no. I'm like, do not call me back. I said, because you're not going to get on this phone and tell me what you're going to do for me for damaging my car. So I hung up. The other man, he's like, I don't even know why he called you. He's not even supposed to be dealing with you. I'm supposed to be dealing with you. So yeah, that was that. That wasn't even the half of it. That was me skipping a part. So remember when I told y'all I noticed that the seat was like damaged or whatever. Didn't work, didn't move. That was the day I got it. Yeah, tell me what the next day I went to Lowe's with my mom. I'm at Lowe's. You know, I had a cool little drive. I'm here bumping away all the way to Lowe's. Y'all, I was feeling myself. Like, I really just went and put $10,000 down on the car. Not 5, not 10. And my APR was only 4.99%. Y'all, when I tell y'all I was feeling myself, believe me. So I got the speakers on full blast. Me and my mom and I went to Lowe's or whatever. I get in there, I get what I need. Y'all are not gonna believe me. When I tell you, I came up out of Lowe's, started that car, and the check engine light was on. But that didn't even have nothing to do with the dealership, honestly. That was all General Motors. So I'm on the phone talking to the man. He's like, I don't know why the engine light is on. And I'm like, you know what? I'm pissed off. He on the phone like, girl, calm down, girl. And I'm just like literally trying to soak everything in while I'm on this phone. Like, I'm mad, I'm frustrated. This is about to make me depressed. Yeah, my mom flipped from the passenger seat. She like, what you mean, girl? And at that point, he got it together. He was like, why don't you just, I said, no, because I'm finna go to AutoZone and I'm finna figure this out. He said, no, just take the car to a Chevy dealer. The car is a certified car. Figure out what's wrong with it. He said, if you want to unwind the deal, we can unwind the deal. So I took it to the Chevy dealer. Boom. I left it there. They ended up calling me, telling me what's wrong with it. They said it was a perp valve solenoid. It was faulty. And at that time, General Motors didn't have out their recall on that purge valve solenoid. So I'm like, okay, I don't want y'all to fix nothing on the car, because at this point I'm like, do I give it back? Do I not give it back? So they ended up just fixing it anyway. It was like, your car is fixed. Can you come get it? And I'm like, why would y'all fix it? But when I got there, they didn't charge me nothing. They didn't charge me nothing because the car was certified. And yeah, that was a perk. That was one of the perks of the car. Transmission, engine covered to 6 years, 100,000 miles. It still had manufacturer warranty on it, that's for sure. And it also was certified, which means that it came with like oil changes. So okay, now we back at this part or whatever. I picked up the car. I'm like, oh well, whatever it is, they fixed it or whatever. So we good. We really good. So now we at the part where we're going back and forth about the dent in the door. The manager, the general manager, the part of the owner. I guess the dealership had 3 owners. So he's like, okay. I said they wanted me to drive the car out there for them to remove the dent, and I told them I'm not finna put all these 200 miles on my car. Basically, that would have been 400 miles. So I'm like, I'm not gonna put 200 miles on my car to go out there for y'all to do this. I said, I'm gonna go to a dent place and y'all are gonna reimburse me. So they like, okay, cool, go to a dent place, we'll pay them. Y'all, I went to that dent place and I told that man, if you wanna put 5 dents on that freaking invoice, go ahead. I told him, because I'm not paying for it. So he goes, hey, dealerships make a lot of money anyway. But he wasn't even like the shady type or whatever. But I was just finding little stuff that he could add on to the little, to help him out. So, cause I was pissed with them. They was talking crazy to me, y'all. Okay, so at that point, boom, they fixed it, and the car ends up getting a rattle, y'all. It was like this rattle coming from the dash when you drive, and you could just hear it and hear it and hear it. So I'm like, oh my god, that's gonna drive me crazy. Yeah, so that wasn't the dealership fault anyway, but at that point, I guess they just sympathized with my pain. They was like, if you want to keep the car, you can keep the car. If you don't want to keep the car, you don't have to. We will unwind the deal for you, give you all your money back, everything. So they like, at this point, they like, and we'll also, if you give us the car back, we'll give you $5,000 for your troubles. So at that point, I'm like, I really don't want to be looking for a different car. I'm like, that's going to be a headache for me. And then everything that I got going on, how I'm going to get to these places, do these parties. I got to make my money. So I'm over here like, no. What y'all gonna do is, I'm gonna keep my car, and y'all gonna give me $5,000 for my trouble. That's 50% back on my down payment. You feel me? And I'm like, at this point, I'm gonna use that $5,000 to put towards the car or whatever. So push come to shove, the rattle is getting out of control. When I tell y'all this rattle getting out of control, y'all, it was annoying me. I took it to the dealership. They was fixing places that didn't need to be fixed. They done broke the screen. It has this little screen that has like a stash spot behind it. Roll the screen up, it's just like, and then when you try to close, it's like. So I'm like, yeah, I broke my screen. Y'all, when I tell y'all that dealership got got oil spots all on my tin headliner. They done dented my dash all up. Broke pieces, replaced pieces. Yeah, it's like they just took the value of the car straight down. So here I am going back and forth with General Motors. I'm like, I don't want to go back to this dealership because this dealership is tearing the car up. They're not fixing it. They're just making it worse. So they're like, okay, you don't want to deal with this dealership. Won't you just drive it down here to another dealership and they can fix whatever this dealership messed up? Y'all, why I get in my car and I go all the way down there one morning. I did my little schedule and everything. I went out there. Why the heck when I got out there? Why? Y'all told me why they're like, okay, you can leave the car. Now all of a sudden the General Motor representative is not answering the phone. Like, he is not picking up. He ain't returning no calls, no nothing. So they're like, okay, we'll take the car. They're like, we don't know if you can get you a rental car. And I'm like, okay, so why would they just told me to come all the way, so I'm mad. So they like, me and my son, we just hopped back in the car. I'm like, I can't. So the lady felt so bad. She called the manager and he's like, just give her a rental car or whatever. So she called me. She said my boss said I could just give you one. I left the car. They tried to figure out the rattle, and then they were trying to figure out what else they were supposed to fix after the other dealership tore up. But then they needed approval from the General Motors Customer Engagement Center, the California Customer Engagement Center. So they are on the phone. They're trying to contact them. He ended up leaving them a voicemail. Then they were answering again. But it was like when I got out there, he was talking in third party. He's like, okay, so you want me to call them and tell them that you want them to do this and you want them to do that? I said, why are you speaking like this all of a sudden now that I'm down here? Now that I done went down there and took the car down there, you're talking about I want them to do this. I said, no. We already talked about this. You sent me down there for them to fix what this dealership messed up. So they're like, for us to fix whatever someone else messed up, we need to get approval for that. We need like a approval number and all of this. So yeah, it done been like 2 weeks. I still got this rental car. I'm just riding around. So here I am still riding around. So he never answered the phone. He talking in third party. I done requested to speak to his supervisor. So his supervisor had ended up calling me. Y'all, this lady picked up the phone. I say hello. She's like, yeah, your vehicle is ready for pickup. Your vehicle has been ready. And whatever fees you incur for taking your car down there, those fees are on you. We're not responsible for those fees. And I said, your employee told me that. She said, I know he told you that. She said, I know he told you that, and I'm going to talk to him about that. That's all she said, is that she's going to talk to him about that. So I'm like, that's it. So you think I'm about to pay almost $900 for driving around in this rental car for 2 weeks because of y'all was taking y'all time on calling them back? I said, I'm not paying none of that. Literally, I told her. I said, y'all going to take this car back since it's giving me this big of a headache. This lady going to say, we have to see if you qualify for that. I said I should qualify. I said I done took the car for the same thing about 5 times. I said I had the car for a whole year, but it been in the It been in the service dealer at the Chevrolet dealer majority of that time. I got this car when it had 27, almost 28,000 miles on it. Why is it a year later and this car only has 32,000 miles, almost 33? That goes to show you. I said, so whatever miles got put on the car is from the dealership driving it around, trying to duplicate the noise. I said they done took it apart, put it together, took it apart, put it together. I said it been in here past 30 days at one point. I said, and then on top of that, the whole time that they had it, they never not once gave me a rental car or a loaner car. So I was just out here stuck without a car, catching rides. She's like, well, we gotta see if you qualify. She just being an asshole at this point. So I'm trying to talk to somebody higher, y'all. They not letting me talk to nobody higher, y'all. They done basically told me that they offered me a buyback multiple times and I denied it, which is a lie. When I tell y'all that these people are so untrustworthy, you have to believe me when I tell you this. They are so untrustworthy. They're unprofessional because after the fact, when I did report him to her, she's like, okay, I gotta do this for a buyback. But she did say she was gonna talk to him about telling me to drop the car off there. Do you know I'm driving? I'm like, trying to mind my business. I get a call. I'm like, oh, it's General Motors. I pick it up. He picked up. He had an attitude, y'all. He's like, hey, and he says my name, and I'm like, he's like, how are you? He's like, how are you? And I said, why you like that or whatever. He's like, because you know when it started up a whole bunch of book. Yes, this professional man said that to me. And at this point, I'm driving and I'm literally arguing with him. Yeah, I done almost got in a car accident because I'm on the phone arguing with this man. And I say, you know what? I literally just almost got in a car accident. I said, just get off of my phone. Get off of my phone. Don't call me back. So I call and I file another complaint on him. At this point, I'm trying to file a complaint on his boss because they not doing nothing about it. I'm like, y'all need to listen to that phone call and y'all need to see how that man called me talking crazy to me because first of all, per y'all protocol, he was supposed to ask me, was I driving? Don't think I haven't been paying attention this whole time. He was supposed to say, are you driving a vehicle? Because they was not supposed to talk to me if I was driving a vehicle. Therefore, you almost made me have a car accident. Y'all, let me go on to tell y'all, do y'all know that they sit here and they basically told me that I denied this buyback and this and this and that and that. I never denied anything. I told them that I would do a repurchase. They had me thinking that they was just gonna find me a new vehicle to put me in. Last minute they told me, oh, the car is basically discontinued. They can't put me in that, so they're trying to stick me in any Chevrolet. And I said, no, that's not gonna happen. They're trying to basically downplay me with how much they originally owe me. They're not trying to calculate the cost that I paid for my service plan. It's so much stuff that they're not trying to calculate, but they're not trying to charge me mileage. And I said, okay, y'all think y'all doing me a favor by not charging me mileage, but all the mileage that's on the car basically done came from the dealership driving the car around town or me driving out and back and forth to dealerships. I got on the car on the freeway probably about 2, 3, 4 times. Once to LA, probably twice. Once to LA, once to Ventura. Once to LA, once to, where is it where Kim Kardashian and live? I can't even remember. But then I went to Valencia probably like 2, 3 times. That's all how much enjoyment I got out of a car that I had for a whole year because it was back and forth into the dealership because it's just made poorly, and y'all wonder why the sales was going down, which is why I had to discontinue the car. The car is made poorly. Now at this point, Y'all trying to stick me with the car. You're not trying to give me my proper amount back. And I told y'all, I'm getting a lawyer. I'm getting a liminal attorney. Y'all tell me why they done sent the police to my house. I'm out here like, what did I do? The police just showing up to my house for me. I'm like, they put up to the house. I'm outside on the porch. My mom vacuuming out her car. So they're like, we're looking for blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh my god, what did I do? And my mom is looking so confused, and she like, who called you? They're like General Motors. I said, are you serious? So they come to the door. They're like, we just need to see if you okay. Y'all tell me why General Motors done sent the police to my house, telling them, I don't know what they told them to be honest, but they talking about they need to make sure I'm okay. So I said, what did they tell y'all? They told us that you were gonna hurt yourself, and I said, what? I said I never not once said that. And at that point, I said, I honestly want all my conversations to be with you guys through email because why would y'all call the police to my house? Got me looking crazy over something that I did not say. I said, I have a child. I said, and I have neighbors. They sitting here looking like at me like I'm a criminal. I said, I never not once threatened to you guys to harm myself in any way, shape, form, whatever. So at that point, I'm just talking to them through email. I don't even want to converse with them on the phone no more because they just spinning everything that I'm saying out of control. They saying I didn't want to get a car back. They saying that I'm trying to harm myself. And I'm like, these people are really crazy. And I'm like, the fact that you guys record all y'all phone calls and y'all making up all of these lies is really beyond me. I said, don't y'all feel like I already been through enough with the whole car situation and everything? I said, this was my first car buying experience and it is ruined for me. I said, now I'm in a position to have no car all over again. All because this car is crap. It's really crap. My honest opinion, it's a really nice car. Very nice car. It's stylish. It looks good. But the way it was built is just poor. Like they have all this plastic in the dash. Like it does give the car a stylish look, and I can show you guys how it looks. It gives the car a stylish look. It looks good on the outside, look good on the inside. Yeah, I done bought rims for this car. I done put my little I done went and got my Chevy signs blacked out. I bought a little mat for my trunk because that was the only damage the car actually did have. The little lining in the trunk, it had a hole in it, but it was nothing that I couldn't cover up. I just bought a trunk mat, and you would never even know. Other than that, everything was cool. Like the seats, everything. Like it still had the new car smell and everything, y'all. But the dash, the way it's made, it's like the problem with it took them so long to figure it out, but it's the windshield, the dash tapping against the windshield every time I drive, goes like this. And I'm over here stuck between the two. Like, do I keep the car? Do I not keep the car? Now cars done went sky high, y'all. Cars are sky high now. I paid 19 for that car. If I try to go get that car again right now, I'm paying about 27. And I'm like, I'm not finna get the same car again. You feel me? So I'm like, do I get a charger? I'm really stuck between the two. Like, do I get a charger? Do I keep this car? Just thug it out. I always got the music loud anyway. If you put the AC on, you kind of really can't hear it, but you can hear it. I'm just over here and I'm lost, y'all. So I'm like, I don't even know what to do. But honestly, it's a lot for one person to take in. I feel like this situation alone made me so depressed. Like I feel like it put me really, really down. Like it gave me bad anxiety. Like just feeling like you made a bad decision. Like just to not be happy with something that you put a lot of money and effort into, y'all. And then I was so torn because, like I told y'all, the car, it was what, 25 after taxes. On only owe $6,000 on the car. 1 year later, I owe $6,000 on the car, and I'm like, well, the car basically is paid off. It's basically paid off, and I'm like, my heart was really set on that car, but at the same time, it's like it just has this one flaw that I can't tolerate. So I'm like, I'm really stuck between the two. And then if I boom my back, get a car back, I'm gonna be searching for another car. Probably having to rent rental cars to get out there just to see them cars. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. But General Motors really sold me a lemon. A lemon. And then after the fact that I was mad about the dealership over the engine light coming on, it was all General Motors' fault, because guess what? They got a recall out now. So I'm like, wow, I ain't even gotta go get mine fixed, because I already done got it fixed the day after I got the car. But yeah, it's a lot to take in, especially for it being your like first car buying experience. My first car buying experience is ruined. It's ruined. I can admit that. Now I'm gonna be super cautious. I don't feel like I would purchase a used car again, for the simple fact that something like this could be happening. But don't get me wrong, I did test drive other cars, and I feel like basically, okay, so like I test drove a Chevy Trax. It was like had a real bad rattle. I done drove multiple Chevy Malibus. They have rattles, but not similar to mine. And then I've drove in other Impalas, like they have the same rattles. So honestly, I feel like ain't nothing you can really do. I feel like at this point, I either gotta tolerate it or I gotta give it back. If I give it back, I'm looking at being out of more money with them adding that little $5,000 money on, because of this little situation we got going on with the mask and stuff. So that's a fee added on because of this, all of this that's going on in the world. So it's a lot to take in, a real lot. But yeah, I just wanted to rant about that, guys. That was really heavy on my mind. I needed to tell somebody, and I ain't got no friends, but I really needed to tell somebody about that. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching this video. If you made it to the end, like, comment, subscribe. I feel like I'm probably gonna be on here ranting a lot. Just rant. And if I'm not ranting, you're gonna see me on here with my kid, probably doing a challenge or something. But